So I guess with all that said, we can jump into the 2016 ChairShot Awards. Fussies. Kicking off here with, let's go in the order they're on the list here. Feud of the year. Feud, or we can widen that a little to angle, general thing you liked, storyline, whatever, however you want to digest that. Bit of a mixed bag of a year on that front. Some surprising stuff, some bad stuff, some middling stuff. Paul, why don't you go first there with your feud of the year?
Well, first of all, honorable mentions, of course. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, quite good feud this year. As an NXT watcher, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, I quite enjoyed a lot of their interactions this year. I thought they had a very good feud. I enjoyed their promos more so than their matches, but their interactions were very cool. And finally, as a SmackDown watcher, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose / James Ellsworth, I also enjoyed quite a lot. But my feud of the year might be one that might surprise you. It might be one out of left field here. Broken Matt Hardy versus Brother Nero.
Brother Nero!
For week on week, having me watch bits of Impact, which I thought nothing could do. From that first segment shot at the Hardy compound, which I couldn't believe how bad it was. Little did I know where it was going to lead us with Final Resolution, Vanguard 1. This feud has brought so much joy to the world of wrestling, lads, that I had to give it feud of the year. Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. So that's my feud of the year. Who would have thunk it? The Hardys feuding in 2017 would be my favourite feud.
Yeah, Hardy feud, winning anything. Amazing.
Why don't you go, Joe? What do you got?
It's been a tough year to pick these awards, to be honest, because since WrestleMania, I have watched virtually no WWE television at all. I've literally seen 3 or 4 episodes of each show. So although I've seen most of the kind of the big shows, I haven't been following week to week.
Big show.
Ooh. I was in quite a variety of wrestling this year, from going to see TNA live in January, to watching some British stuff, to watching World of Sport at the end of the year, to New Japan, and Evolve around WrestleMania time. But eventually I settled on a couple of feuds that I enjoyed in the latter half of the year. As Paul mentioned, the James Ellsworth, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles stuff was a lot of fun. And the fact that they got that storyline still over and got James Ellsworth still over was very impressive indeed. Shows what you can do with creative booking and innovative stuff. But I'm going to give the award to John Cena versus AJ Styles. Somewhat of a dream match and a dream feud, as they've been the faces of WWE and TNA respectively over the past decade. And they had great, very, very good matches. A great match at SummerSlam. Just overall good. It was a difficult year because there wasn't anything that jumped out on me 100%, but that one was good enough to win.
Very good. I've seen a lot of people giving a lot of praise to Cena Styles. Was a little bit. Most of the feud was really before I got back into watching SmackDown on a weekly basis. So I didn't feel right picking that. Like, what I did see of it, especially when it was happening on Raw with the club involved, I wasn't a huge fan of. So had I seen a little bit more of that on the SmackDown side, I maybe would have gone that way. But good pick.
I'd give an honorable mention to John Cena versus AJ Styles. I'd give an honorable mention to The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, which I would have been tempted to give the win to, only for the fact that I found Ziggler's shtick just to be very, very tired this year, and he's just the quintessential loser, and the fact that he's the babyface is just kind of ridiculous. Or he's not anymore, but he was at the time. I greatly enjoyed something that Paul and I witnessed, the blow-off 2 in OTT, which was the Gymnasties versus the Kings of the North. It was a great heated feud with great heels and great baby faces, and it was a very, very fun thing to see live. I appreciated that a lot. But my feud of the year, I thought it might be a swerve. I thought it might be a hot take, but evidently not, because me and Paul are on the same page. I'm also going to go with my general angle of the year, which is going to be Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero versus the World, basically. Because I didn't watch Impact weekly after Final Deletion. I loved Final Deletion, but I didn't stick with Impact. But I did come back for the Delete versus Decay. And I did come back for what was the most recent one? Non-stop deletion, was it?
Yeah.
Total non-stop deletion, yeah.
Yeah, so they brought me back time and time again. And I would definitely I would definitely be interested in going to like an indie show if Matt Hardy was on it. Like, he's sufficiently gotten himself to that level with me. So that's something I didn't think I would say several years ago if you asked me. So that's impressive, and yeah, it's been very entertaining, and I like them against each other, and I like them also a lot as a team. Although some of Jeff Hardy's wacky Ricky Gervais improv characters are most definitely not over with me, but give them the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, my angle of the year is Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero.
Also gave us the I fade away and classify myself as obsolete, which is one of the best theme songs of the year, I think. As he sings it himself coming out to the ring.
So we've got worst of the year.
I found this a tougher one than best.
I looked at it and I was like, this is tough. There's been lots of middling stuff, but what? And then when I really started to think about it, I was like, actually, there's been some shite.
Because for me, watching SmackDown and enjoying it so much, it was really the case this year where I've actually avoided a lot of the bad wrestling somehow, just by virtue of not watching it. So I actually had to struggle to think of a worst feud. Honorable mentions. The never-ending Sasha Banks Charlotte feud that just seems to be going on and on and on, and most of the matches I saw in Matthews, like most botched matches of the year, like 2 of the Sasha Banks Charlotte matches were in there.
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell one was kind of dreadful in hindsight. Like, I didn't really like it at the time, but looking back on it, the finish especially, it's like the deadest, worst finish for what should have been your dream.
The natural selection as the finish as well of a Hell in a Cell match. Not only that, but the feud itself had a lot of like Sasha Banks' fake retirement along the way, and the fact that they just flip-flopped the title back and forth so much.
I saw someone in an article early today compare this feud to Tiger Mask versus Dynamite Kid.
Oh dear.
In terms of revolutionizing the business. So if you want to read sbnation.com, then just drink bleach instead.
Just submerge your head in a lovely tin of blue paint there. I also give honorable mentions to Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt on SmackDown this year, and Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, where they feuded over a plant, if you care to remember that. But
that was rubbish.
Worst feud of the year is actually one that's currently ongoing on SmackDown.
Ooh.
And it's mostly due to the very, very poor performances of one of the people in it. Every time their segment is on SmackDown, it takes me back to my amateur play days at school when I was in a little shop of horrors. It's that level of acting and that level of believability. Yes, folks, it's Nikki Bella. And her feud, her nonsensical feud with Carmella and Natalya, which is based entirely on that E! Show they do, Total Divas.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very bad. Also, they call each other bitch and skank now, so it takes me back to the old Vince Russo TNA days, which is not good.
Back when wrestling was good, yeah.
I'm gonna punch your titties out your back, you bitch. No, thank you, don't do that. Rubbish, mate. So that's my worst of the year.
Fair enough. My worst feud of the year. This is one of the ones I've kind of seesawed on a little bit. I really didn't like Jericho and Dean either. But just for how much they've killed my interest in people I really like, it's going to be face Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Because they've not done justice to Owens. They completely scuppered Rollins' comeback as a face. They kept him as a heel first for reasons that escape me, and then they ruined the turn. I've been so disappointed with this, and to say they have not capitalized on Owens would be an understatement. He really is just the archetypal Randy Orton-esque, just a guy in the role of corporate champion, and that's such a bummer. And I've just been profoundly disappointed with everything. And I was so excited when he won the title, because he's been a favorite of mine for years. But terrible stuff. So worst feud of the year for me is that one.
Interesting. Well, I just changed my pick. I was going to give it to, because again, I struggled with this one because I couldn't really think of too many feuds this year. But I was going to give it to Randy Orton versus the Wyatt family, because it just every time I've seen anything to do with it, it just seems so boring and insipid. And I hate Bray Wyatt, and Randy Orton seems to be pretty boring unless he's motivated. But I just remembered the existence of AJ Styles and Chris Jericho's feud led into WrestleMania. That saw Jericho constantly patronizing AJ Styles as a kid, as a rookie, despite the fact that he's been consistently out-wrestling, out-performing Jericho for the last decade. And it's an incredibly experienced wrestler. He did absolutely nothing for AJ to kick off his WWE career. Yep. Luckily, he managed to turn it around afterwards in feuds with Roman Reigns and John Cena. But yeah, a disaster of a feud with a terrible ending at WrestleMania as well. So AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Worst feud of the year.
Good
one. That would be an honorable mention for me, certainly. Yeah. Okay. I think those are all solid picks.
It's funny when you think about Chris Jericho and the year he's had. Most would say he's had a good year where he's reinvented himself quite well.
Yeah.
But he's been involved in two of the worst feuds of the year, if not more. Ambrose and Styles.
I would say most of his best work has been in the second half of the year. I think everyone was pretty damn negative on him early on, but he post draft he really stepped up his game, so that's good. So we are onwards to the Gimmick of the Year awards. I'll go first on this one because I think I have a fairly straightforward pick. Honorable mention to The Miz, who's really great. Honorable mentions to Chris Jericho. Again, the latter half of the year for Chris Jericho. Even though I haven't loved all the stuff, honorable mention to James Ellsworth. But my winner is going to be Broken Matt Hardy. I think that's a straightforward pick for this year. If ever there was a straightforward Gimmick of the Year pick, it's this year. So
yeah. I'll go second. I'll give honorable mentions to Marty Scurll, who did a fantastic job this year and has ended up in Ring of Honor. He really came back. You see that party gimmick and the whole kind of take me out thing. Completely did a 180 to do this kind of sort of supervillain kind of character. That's really good, really interesting, and hopefully he has a great year this year. Also, Glorious. Robert Roode's gimmick, which just goes to show you can take a quite bland wrestler, give him a great gimmick, and they'll get over. Fantastic theme song and entrance.
Mainly the song,
but it's a great gimmick. But yes, my Gimmick of the Year is Broken Matt Hardy, or Deletion, or whatever you want to call it. That whole thing. I didn't get Feud of the Year because I think it kind of encapsulated more than that with the whole character and the feud and the special shows they did. But yeah, just they're all really, really enjoyable. Possibly sort of overdid it a bit by the end of the year, but still loads of fantastic moments. And I still enjoy the Broken Matt Hardy gimmick. I still think it's funny.
It's tough to have a perfect year, isn't it? Yeah,
but clear winner for me.
Especially since, they are carrying that promotion on their back at this stage. heavy load and relying. I mean, everyone was kind of curious about the shelf life of the gimmick, and TNA's just like, we got nothing else, man. You got to do another one of these fucking matches with fireworks.
I know. I mean, when you look at the other stuff that's on the show and the stuff that appeared on Total Nonstop Deletion, it was just death. It was Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Lashley. Ugh. No, thank you.
What about you, Paul?
Oh.
I have honorable mentions for The Miz, as mentioned before. Chris Jericho with his list. James Ellsworth. But my gimmick of the year is also Broken Matt Hardy. It's unanimous.
If ever there was a man to get a clean sweep, it was him. Yeah. Honorable mentions to Maxwell.
Well, let's not spoil Wrestler of the Year, Barry. Hang on now.
Also, the Gardener is
Senor Benjamin.
exceptional. Benjamin.
Maxwell is undefeated.
Yeah,
You know.
he's the Goldberg of a new generation.
So yeah, very good. Let's see here. Up next, card of the year. We're talking single.
Well, wait.
Here.
Worst gimmick first.
Oh, pardon me. I haven't really thought about this all that much. Do you guys want to go first?
Yeah, I have not as many honorable mentions. I throw Nikki Bella on there as an honorable mention.
On the fire.
But one for me, out and out, worst gimmick of the year. Babyface Seth Rollins.
Yes.
They ruined the man.
Yeah, if I'd seen any of Raw this year, I'd probably agree with you, but I don't think I've seen anything of
I have
Seth
one
Rollins
word
this year
for
at
you,
all.
Joe. Sparkle Crotch.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm kind of glad I missed it, because I love Seth Rollins, and I'm glad I've missed this year. I struggled to come up with one for this. I couldn't think of any standouts. I did think of the Delete rip-off that WWE did with the
Oh yeah,
with the Wyatt family, which was
Rubbish.
embarrassingly bad. But in the end, I decided to plump for I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy. Roman Reigns' short-lived attempt to overcome the boos that followed his world title reign.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Telling people you're the guy is a surefire way to prove that you're not the guy. So, sorry, Roman.
Sorry, Roman. For me, honorable mentions to Seth Rollins, as mentioned. Honorable mentions to Carmella. I'd like to cut Carmella a little bit of slack. She's gotten better, but the gimmick specifically of her being like this fake Jersey girl was just terrible. Just it didn't work at all. But my winner, my worst gimmick of the year, if you can call that a winner, is make Darren Young great again.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're using someone rubbish, and it sums up the year of make blank great again gimmicks in wrestling.
Yeah.
It was only good when Brian Cage did it because he went to actual Mexico.
Good choice.
So that's my choice for that. Those are our worst gimmicks of the year, and now we move on to card of the year, which is this is for a single show. It's not a weekly thing or anything. This is a single episode of a show, or a card, or a pay-per-view, or a network special, or whatever. So who wants to go first on that one, lads?
I can go first, I suppose.
Sure.
3 honorable mentions. Ultima Lucha Dos.
Mm-hmm. I like that one.
NXT TakeOver Toronto.
Yes, yeah.
And my very first OTT.
Ooh.
The Dream Before Christmas. But my of the year will be NXT TakeOver Dallas.
Ooh. Very good. Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn, and the Revival versus American Alpha.
Yeah.
All good stuff. What about you, Joe?
That's good. This was a tough one. I thought all the NXT shows were good. Honourable mentions go to NXT Toronto, which I enjoyed a lot. Although looking back at the card, there weren't tons of great matches on there, but overall I just enjoyed the show a lot. NXT Dallas as well, honourable mention. Great tag match, great Sami Zayn Nakamura match, great women's match, and enjoyable main event as well. It came down to that and the winner, and in the end I decided to plump for the Cruiserweight Classic final, which was a combination of a fantastic tournament.
Yes.
One of the few things I watched consistently from start to finish. And the final had 3 fantastic matches, semi-finals and final, all very, very good. And a great story, great moment.
Well, my honourable mentions are going to be kind of a lot of stuff previously mentioned. NXT Dallas and NXT Toronto were both really, really great. The OTT Christmas show that Paul mentioned was great. The OTT August show was also really, really fantastic. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Pete Dunne, amongst other things on that. But my pick is actually, the Cruiserweight Classic final. I thought I was going to... Another one I thought I might catch you off guard with that one. But Joe got in there, baby.
Oh, baby.
I think the Cruiserweight Classic is going to be looked back on as a really special thing in hindsight. As a condensed story, but also as a week-to-week show, and also some of those shows, including the final, as standalone cards, are just really, really fantastic. So, love the hell out of that thing. Disappointed with what came next for the Cruiserweights. That's very, very disappointing. But what are you going to do? That's my card of the year as well. So fair play to that. And now we move on to worst card of the year.
Okay.
I'll go first.
I'll
go first here on worst card of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The worst card of the year was WrestleMania. And I was there, and it was my first time there, and it should have been a special occasion, but Vince McMahon took a wee on me, and first of all, nearly killed me in the Texas sun. Okay, that's one.
I thought you were going to say how you nearly fell off.
And then also terrified me by booking a stadium where the cheap seats were like in the atmosphere, and also charged me 18 quid for a Coke and chicken wings. Just all around bad. And also I forgot to mention it, but the worst feud of the year was potentially Triple H versus Roman Reigns. Shite. And also up until that point, they got better after, but the women's revolution stuff leading into the 3-way was nauseating. So yeah, I like that women's match an awful lot, but overall that card sucked, and you would be surprised how being there live actually does not make WrestleMania better. So yeah, fuck WrestleMania.
I'll go next. Oh, Paul, do you want to go next? Or?
Yeah, I agree. I had WrestleMania 32 as my worst of the year. I also had, as an honorable mention, that episode of Lucha Underground with the war match between...
Oh, I should have mentioned that.
That's up there as well. But definitely WrestleMania 32. Very much maybe not the worst card of the year, but definitely the most disappointing.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I also went for WrestleMania 32 as the worst card of the year.
What?
From all the pre-show matches that took place in front of 27 people, to the Chris Jericho AJ Styles match, which was subpar with a stupid finish. New Day's entrance was good, coming out of the big cereal box.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the high points, to be honest.
Yeah,
Lesnar Ambrose was fucking shit and a huge disappointment.
The disappointment of the year, possibly.
Yeah. I liked the women's match, probably the best match of the night, and it wasn't like phenomenal, but I thought it was very, very good.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell match I might come to later. The Battle Royal, not as good as the other ones, I don't think. Baron Corbin won it, which is, whatever. They randomly threw Sinbad, was it, in there? Or was it the other fella?
No, I think it was Sinbad.
Oh no, yeah, it was Shaq. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a great battle royal. The Rock came out and did this whole thing. I love The Rock, but it was it was total filler. And then I went to bed about 10 minutes into Roman Reigns versus Triple H because it was incredibly late and I had to go to work the next day.
Yeah, you made the smart decision. I couldn't.
Yeah, but that was nothing to remember as well. So overall, absolute shite. And basically stopped me from watching WWE for the rest of the year. It was that bad.
Okay.
Do we want to do match of the year here first before we get into flop?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Alrighty. Up next, we're going to talk about the best and worst matches of the year. First of all, let's talk about the best matches of the year. Paul, what was the best match of the year?
Oh my god. There were quite a few of them this year. Let me tell you first of all, some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, Shinsuke Nakamura, who for some reason I've written down as Shunsuke here. Shinsuke Nakamura against Sami Zayn at TakeOver Dallas, obviously. DIY versus Revival, 2 out of 3 falls.
Yes.
NXT TakeOver Toronto. And honorable mention to my boy, who I met in person, Hornswoggle, as he teamed with 2 Skangers from Dublin to fight again. Honorable mention to Ricochet versus Will Ospreay from OTT.
Yeah.
Probably, without doubt, the best match I've ever seen live, for sure.
Yeah.
However, not my match of the year, weirdly enough. The match of the year might be one that'll take quite a few people by surprise, I think. But in terms of it, first and foremost, being a great match, it had that. But it also had emotion and emotional context, which Ricochet Will Ospreay, for me, didn't have. So my match of the year is from the Cruiserweight Classic, as Tommaso Ciampa took on best mate Johnny Gargano.
Wow.
That was the most I enjoyed a match this year.
Yep.
10 out of 10 enjoyment points for that one.
Yep. So many good matches this year. It's almost hard to kind of remember them all. Honorable mention to way back at the start of the year, Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Match I haven't really seen mentioned. That was a very, very good match.
It was a great match, yeah.
So honorable mention to that. Honorable mention to AJ Styles versus John Cena from SummerSlam. I don't think it quite hit the heights of Cena's other kind of big matches, like the ones he had with Kevin Owens or with Bryan or Punk, but it was a very, very good match.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ospreay versus Marty Scurll from that Rev Pro show. I can't remember the name of, but back in January.
Yeah. Either.
Fantastic match. And also to Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr. from that Evolve show after WrestleMania or WrestleMania weekend. Also fantastic. I have, however, given it to another Cruiserweight Classic match, one from the second round, which at the time I just absolutely adored the match, got caught up in it, thought it was very, very, very good match, sort of style I like as well, and it was Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander.
Ooh, very good pick.
That was my match of the year. Whoosh.
I was tempted to go with that one, and I'm glad I didn't now, because Joe would have stolen my thunder there again. That one definitely gets an honorable mention. Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. Super frustrated with what they've done with Alexander since, not making the most of him whatsoever. Yeah. But absolutely fantastic match. TJP versus Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa, as Paul mentioned. What else was there? God, I could sit here and talk about Cruiserweight Classic matches alone. The final was great. Kota Ibushi versus TJP.
Yeah.
Special mention to both the Revival versus Johnny Gargano matches. Also wanted to give mention to the Marty versus Will Ospreay match Joe mentioned. Also, from just a month or two ago, Will Ospreay versus Matt Riddle from Progress was absolutely fantastic. Seeing him in OTT next month. So there was that. Trying to think. I mean, look, there's been so many great matches. The first match I saw Ospreay have in OTT, the main event of the first OTT show I went to, Ospreay versus Pete Dunne versus Ryan Smile. It was like being there live. That was like watching Joe Daniels AJ happen in front of your face. It was fucking ridiculously great. But my match of the year, as you might expect, was Ricochet versus Ospreay from OTT. I remember. I think I can't remember how many times I watched the New Japan match, but it was definitely more than I typically rewatch a match these days. You know, in these days where none of us really have time to just watch our favorite matches 10 times in a row. But I watched that one quite a bit. I mean, every time someone else shared it on my Facebook feed, because it was super popular there, even with non-wrestling fans for a while. I've pretty much always sit down and say, okay, well, I'm going to watch it again because it's here. And then seeing it live was just absolutely bonkers. I will never forget that if OTT was to go out of business tomorrow, I would never forget that they at least afforded me the opportunity to see that match live. So, very, very cool opportunity. We could, as up and down as wrestling was this year, we could probably sit here for another hour and talk just about the great matches that happened. Yeah. So that's certainly a positive. So yeah, that's my match of the year. I think that's all three of us. So what about worst match of the year, lads? Anything jump out at you? Paul, do you have a worst of the year?
Yeah, I have some honorable mentions first. Ho Ho Loon versus Arya Daivari from the Cruiserweight.
That's great.
Shelly Martinez versus Rebel from TNA.
Oh my god, my badge!
I've said my badge hurts. And Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose from WrestleMania 32.
Yeah,
but there can only be one. And the worst match of the year, or at least the match which I enjoyed the least of the entire year, was the main event of WrestleMania. Triple H versus Roman Reigns in a match that went about half an hour that I don't remember a single second of. They probably did a barricade spot, because all matches nowadays have that. But
I was there and I can't even remember
that match.
And I wasn't drinking.
Sucked a dick.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I can't remember if they did a barricade spot and I was there and fucking
no
hell.
heat, really bad. My worst match of the year is from the same event. It was Undertaker versus Shane McMahon Hell in a Cell match. The whole build going into this match, the whole kind of angle was, how is Shane McMahon going to go toe-to-toe with The Undertaker? How is he going to survive Hell in a Cell? And the answer to that was, he just went in and fought Undertaker and went toe-to-toe, and they just had a fucking wrestling match. Which was fucking stupid, cunt. And then Shane McMahon jumped about 40 foot off a cell and nearly killed himself through a fucking table. Nearly killed Steve Merchant as well. And a lot of people say the stunt kind of redeemed the match, but I really hated the stunt. I thought it was just so kind of too dangerous almost, and too kind of over the top. So I hated that match completely.
I think I'm one of the people who enjoyed it, partly because of the stunt.
Yeah, fair enough. Barry?
There was some bad ones. Obviously, special mention to that Martinez match. That was hilariously bad. But yeah, my thunder has been stolen yet again. But I am going to have to give it to Triple H versus Roman Reigns from WrestleMania, because I was so bored. And here's the thing: it wasn't like you were in a John Cena, Rob Van Dam style situation where you could have fun booing them. We were having fun booing them, but then the match just kept going and going, and then eventually everyone just ran out of energy. Everyone was just kind of fed up of watching it, and they just wanted it to end. And the energy levels were just extremely low for that one. So yeah, that was my worst match of the year. if you can't tell everyone, I was not impressed with my first WrestleMania experience.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I think you were just unfortunate that you went to the first bad one in quite a while.
Yeah.
It was not great. And then it took 40 minutes to get out of the stadium because getting out of the car park was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But after the camera stopped rolling, by the way, if you were curious, folks, Triple H started hugging people at ringside, and everyone cheered for him. So
he Hulk Hogan.
So he Hulk Hogan'd him, absolutely. So that was good. What's the next category we got there?
Chris Blake, flop of the year.
Well, we have 4 awards left. Whatever order you want to do them in. Do you want to do Chris Blake next?
Let's do.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a big one. Do you want to go first, Barry, before we steal your
thunder for you?
Sorry again. Yeah.
Steal my thunder again. Okay. There's been a couple this year. I kind of don't want to give flop of the year to someone I like Rusev, because I feel like it's kind of an insult, but at the same time he's been a flop, so I'm not quite sure. Carmella is an honorable mention because she's gotten better, and I want to give her a better credit, but generally speaking, she's been a flop. But another person who I'm giving this award to, who again has gotten better, but is just not very entertaining, and has got a long way to go. It's Baron Corbin. Just not there yet, and like many people, he was given that stupid Andre trophy, and it's as meaningless as these gimmicks come. So yeah, he's the flop of the year for me. But I am reasonably optimistic for him in the new year. I think he might have a good 2017, but we'll see.
Paul?
My flop of the year is someone who's a little bit, I suppose, more highly regarded than Baron Corbin, who just had a poor year. Honorable mentions. Well, maybe we can go through the honorable mentions after we've all given our awards. My flop of the year was someone who I think was in contention for being my wrestler of the year last year. And in fact, I believe was somebody who was in my match of the year last year. But this year, not so much. My flop of the year is Sasha Banks, who is a fantastic heel and not a very good babyface. And I don't know what they're doing with her this year. And she was someone who was very well regarded for someone who was routinely having excellent matches. And it just seems like this year that she's forgotten how to wrestle. So she's my flop. She's my Chris Blake of the year.
Ooh, the boss.
Are you going to back it up? Are you?
Well, I've already talked for 2 minutes about why, so I'll just.
Well, we missed that.
I'll just leave that in if you want to hear it. Listen to it. Sasha Banks is someone who was in contention for being my wrestler of the year last year and was in my match of the year last year. But this year she's had a shite year. She's forgotten how to wrestle. She nearly kills herself every match she has. She's a horrible babyface. She's a very good heel, but she's been a babyface all year, which is miscast, in my opinion. So I think she's flopped. I think that's a true definition of a flop, right? Someone who you have high hopes for, or someone you have high expectations for, who does not meet expectations.
Yeah, and I would say Charlotte may have actually exceeded expectations this year. I don't know that we were all big proponents of hers last year, but she's certainly done well this year. I forgot to mention there, an honorable mention for worst match of the year probably would have been that Hell in a Cell. It had the usual charm of their matches where it's like slightly wild and dangerous in a cool way, but that finishing sequence was just so horrible, and they showed such a lack of ability to improvise that it was a bad indictment of both of them, I feel. So I don't think that's an unfair pick, Paul. I'll say.
There you go. Joe?
I have quite a few honourable mentions, so I would say Seth Rollins, his return was a bit of a flop. Yep. A complete flop.
Oh, that's a good one.
I have him on my honourable mentions as well, Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar, flop of the year.
That's one I don't have, but that's a brilliant pick.
I can't think of anything worthwhile he's done this year except get squashed by Goldberg.
That's a very good pick.
A certain Shinsuke Nakamura.
Really?
Controversial one.
Wow. Okay. I see it. I see your point.
I feel it. Yeah, he's been toiling away in NXT, and I really thought he would have been on the main roster by now.
But I must even say, to your point, even in NXT, he's a big star and he's over, but he's not trailblazed like I thought he was gonna.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's because he just can't be bothered because it's not the main roster.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. But like he wasn't coming in as a kind of hot indie star. He was coming in as like already a big star in New Japan, and someone who's very, very already very well known, had big support. So I expected much bigger things. Another flop: the Universal Championship.
Oh God! You're knocking it out of the park here.
Yes. So it's had a tumultuous start with Finn Balor getting injured, and then Kevin Owens has had it, and I think Barry covered the kind of disappointment of his reign with the title, also completely overshadowed by the SmackDown title picture, which has been pretty good for most of the year.
Yeah.
I have to give the flop of the year though, and it's with a heavy heart, to TJ Perkins and the Cruiserweight title.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think
I had the Cruiserweight division as a honorable mention.
I feel like I perhaps took I took a weak option there with Baron Corbin compared to some of the ones Joe's picked out there. Those are all tremendous picks. TJ Perkins,
such a high.
Yeah. Go on.
No, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say pretty much the exact same thing you said. Coming off the Cruiserweight Classic, it was like he was like, oh, wow, TJ Perkins. I don't think he was anyone's favorite going into the. I mean, he's always been good, but I don't know if anyone was saying, I hope TJ Perkins wins. But he had those great varied matches in the Cruiserweight Classic. They were all different. They were all, they were all great. He showed he's so versatile, and then it was just, oh my goodness, flop after flop in terms of pay-per-view matches. Anyway, I didn't see his week-to-week Raw stuff, but yeah.
I think you're right. He was someone who I thought could have easily gone out in the second round of the tournament at the beginning. Like, I wasn't really expecting much from him, and then he went on to have all these great matches with what's his name, Johnny Gargano, and then did Gargano win or did Ciampa win?
No, Gargano.
Gargano won.
It was Gargano, wasn't it? Yeah. And then the semi-finals and final, and it's fantastic. And then he went to Raw, and it just all kind of fell apart, as you'd probably expect, but hope that it wouldn't. I've only seen one episode of 205 Live. It was kind of mediocre. Felt like Superstars or something.
Yeah, the problem with the Cruiserweights is that they wrestle like the heavyweights. They don't wrestle like they did in the CWC.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's very true.
So the allure of it is gone already.
Yes. Very disappointing. Thank you, WWE.
I also threw one more honorable mention on there for flop of the year. Sexy Star. She won the title and had it for a week, and I felt like the culmination of the storyline. It was almost similar to the Dolph Ziggler put your career on the line, win the title, and then lose it 3 weeks later. It was a little bit of that to it. You could even throw Dolph Ziggler maybe on there, although I've enjoyed a lot of his work this year.
Yeah, I feel bad giving it to him because he's had such good stuff this year. But I mean, look, they had to make him put his career up on the line to get an angle over, and he lost, and people still didn't really care. And
no, he won, and then he lost.
Oh no, pardon me. Yeah, he won, and he was top of the world, and then 2 weeks later he was back being Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, God, that guy. I don't know, but I think we've got some good old picks there, lads. I have to say. Yeah. Some good stuff. Let me open up the list here. So that was Cruiserweight of the year. Moment of the year and worst moment of the year. Who has a moment?
I've got a few moments.
Yeah, I think this is the one that I had the most honorable mentions for.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Honorable mentions. Ricochet jumping over my head that one time at OTT.
Oh yeah.
I was lucky enough at the OTT show to be seated directly in the area where Ricochet came running from behind and jumped over 3 rows of fans. Although, if you watch the VOD, which I actually bought and downloaded, a bit more money for you there, lads. The commentators say that he jumped over 7 rows of fans.
Yeah,
not that many rows in the building, mate. But fair enough.
It was like what building have you been in for the last 2 years?
So yeah, that's an image I won't quickly forget is Ricochet jumping directly over me in the air, 10 feet in the air. Debut of Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm on there.
Yes.
Spelled his name correctly this time.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's retirement.
Oh, great moment.
And also a personal favorite moment of the year. I don't know if too many other people have it on their list. Triple H comes out to shake Cedric Alexander's hand and go, "That was me that done that." Also a personal highlight.
Yeah, that's great.
But I'll allow it just because at the very least those people in the building enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I don't think I even enjoyed it for the reasons that most in the building did, Barry. I had a kind of an ironic enjoyment of it.
Okay.
But my moment of the year, head and shoulders above the rest, had me giddy like almost like nothing since I was watching wrestling as a child. For the entirety of the show in which it happened, I was talking about it for like the next hour and a half going, that happened. It is, of course, the debut of AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing came close this year. 20 minutes later, I was going, that's AJ Styles. He's in WWE now.
The AJ Styles.
So that was, even though they kind of botched it with the, cinematography.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Nothing came close for me for AJ Styles actually being in a WWE ring at the Royal Rumble. Whew. Lordy, moment of the year. Still makes me kind of giddy even thinking about it.
Yeah, need to rewatch that. So this is a tough one. I had quite a few moments that all came quite close for me. Daniel Bryan's retirement was a very emotional evening. One of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Did shed a tear or two.
No.
Was an amazing night. On a personal note, seeing Kurt Angle wrestle live for the first time in January, because another one of my top 3 wrestlers of all time. So again, to see him have one of his classic Angle style matches, and then that was also his retirement tour with TNA. So he chugged a gallon of milk afterwards. So that was pretty funny. I think the only time I stayed up to watch Raw live the whole year, and I got to see something I never thought I'd ever see, and that's the return of Shane McMahon to WWE.
Yeah.
Of course, anyone from the Attitude Era, so many big Shane O'Mac fans. We always thought, would Shane O'Mac come back? Would he ever come back? And it never seemed like he would. It seemed like he'd kind of maybe parted ways on bad terms with the family a little bit, and Triple H and Stephanie were running things. But then, boom, Shane McMahon comes back, and I stayed up and saw it live. So that was fantastic. Money. He came out with his big giant sneakers on and his suit, and it was hilarious. And then Vince McMahon said, "I'll give you a fucking beating" as well.
Oh, that was going to be my moment. I was going to say that when Vince McMahon said, one more chance.
So that was great. But my moment of the year, not similar to Paul, exactly the same as Paul, was the debut of AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble. I was absolutely one of those moments where your heart starts pounding and you're like, no way!
No, I was blown away when it happened.
I can't believe this is happening. And Roman Reigns, his face, I know the camera stayed on him too long, but I actually quite liked his kind of confused reaction.
Well, it kind of kept the suspense because you didn't see the Titan sign right away. You're like, "What's this music? What's happening?"
Yeah. I liked that.
It was funny because even with all the rumors, and even on WWE.com themselves, they had "Is AJ Styles coming?" and so, like stories like that. When it actually happened, it was like, "Wow, Jesus Christ!"
Shit, son!
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, again, lots of great moments. AJ Styles at the Rumble, honorable mention from me. The Father Ted lads interfering in a match at OTT was fucking hysterical. Also, I think I told the story at the time, but my girlfriend obviously did not really want to go to her first OTT show at all, and she was going ballistic for the near falls in the tag match with the Father Ted lads. It was so fun. Easter weekend at OTT, the 100th anniversary of the Easter Rising, and they had an England versus Ireland main event. that was just so crazy. Nakamura's entrance with, I believe, Dave England Jr. is the name of the violinist for Brooklyn, where he basically just had not the one with all the violin, like he had the one guy playing his intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That might be one of my favorite entrances of all time. His one for Toronto was good as well, but that one was incredible. Enzo's debut promo on Raw. I was so bored during that Raw. Like I was getting to watch it, like, in real time in Texas, and I was just like, oh my god, I want to go to sleep. This is so boring. And then he showed up and he just kind of saved the day. It was really fantastic. God, what else is there? Owens winning the title. Obviously, the payoff was not great, but that was a cool moment. Shane jumping off the cage while Dom was cool there live. Okay,
yeah, sure.
As was Snoop Doggy Dogg coming out with Sasha Banks. That was cool. And also, again, more positivity about WrestleMania when The Rock took off his pantaloons and was like, "I'm gonna have a match." I was like, "Ooh!"
With you, Eric Rowan.
And then it was like when it was a 3-second match, I was like, I don't care. I saw a Rock match live. Who's gonna challenge me on that? Nobody. So that was cool. But my moment of the year. This is literally a moment in time. This is a very specific thing. But it's from a match I absolutely adored, and it's the moment that encapsulates the match was great. It's Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. And it's Cedric Alexander's face when Kota Ibushi kicked out at 2.99999 towards the end of that match. And it's the moment when that match kicked up to the next level. And they just zoomed in on Cedric's face, and he had the most cartoonish jaw on the floor look on his face, like, I'm trying to kill this man and he won't die. And it was that was the moment where the CWC went from being really great to amazing for me. And I've thought about that moment several times. Every time I think about how bad the cruiserweight division is now, I just remember how much I freaked out at that near fall, and how much I loved Alexander's face in that exact moment. It was so perfect, and it encapsulated how great the CWC was and how much investment the wrestlers and the fans all had for that moment. So absolutely loved it. Yeah. So I guess we can move on then to worst moment of the year.
Also, quite a few of these. Honorable mentions. Sheamus and Cesaro, when their series, however many it was, best of 5, best of 7, ends in a tie.
Oh god, that's a great one.
Sasha Banks' fake retirement. Titus O'Neil's suspension.
Oh yeah.
For a light-hearted push to Vince McMahon.
Oh, I forgot that was this year. Oh, that's a great one.
But for me, there was only one, and at the time, I remember listeners will know how outraged I was. I think we talked about it for like 15 straight minutes. Worst moment of the year: Seth Rollins injures Finn Balor.
Oh yeah,
with a stupid spot that, of course, he's going to end up injured on.
Yeah.
That for me is as yours. I'm going to steal a word from Barry here. The encapsulation of everything that was wrong with wrestling in 2017. Just the carelessness of a main event match, something like that happening.
Yeah.
I'm still angry about it. It's ridiculous. So that's my worst moment of the year.
Okay, how about you, Joe?
I was going to go for the renege of the Shane and Undertaker stipulation, which was supposed to be, I can't remember what it was now, like Shane McMahon, if he won, he got to take over Raw, and Undertaker got banned from WrestleMania, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, first of all, the stipulation made no sense, because if Undertaker won, then just nothing happened. And then Shane ended up hosting Raw, being in control of Raw kind of anyway. But I think I'm actually going to give it to Chris Jericho kicking out of the Styles Clash at WrestleMania. Kicked out of it.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah. Worst moment of the year. I actually this one I was actually struggling to think of things. I thought of some stuff, but I was like, I'll save this for the Mong Award.
Yeah.
So I was struggling. Honorable mention to already discussed, but the finish of the Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte and Sasha Banks, that was terrible. Trying to think if there's any other moments. No, I can't think of any other moments other than the one I'm thinking of here for the winner. I'm trying to think of a specific moment to encapsulate this, but Alicia Fox being Cedric Alexander's girlfriend. I can't encapsulate it in a moment, but every time I see them together, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah. Being at WrestleMania and they accidentally play Shaq's Tron before he comes out. Being at WrestleMania and they keep putting sing-along prompts on the big screen that I need to look at because I'm sitting in I might as well be sitting back in Limerick, so I need the big screen to actually see what the fuck is happening. That was a good one. First moment of the year. I know I gave Owens winning the title best moment, or rather honorable mention for best moment, but I will give worst moment to Triple H being the one who basically hands him the title and then disappears into the ether. Still to this day, actually, I don't know. Has Triple H been on Raw since that happened? I don't think he has he?
No.
That was. I was trying to defend that moment because I was like, no, it's Kevin Owens. I really like him. This should be cool. We should be happy he's the champion. And everyone who was like, no, it's bad because Triple H was involved, and it's not going to be good. And I was in denial. Well, I was wrong. Of course, I was wrong. So that has to get worst moment of the year from me. Another honorable mention to Shane McMahon out grappling the Undertaker in an MMA tumble in the cell. That was quite special. But,
I was sure you were going to give worst moment to being stuck outside WrestleMania for about an hour.
No, I will restrict it to purely things that happened on television, which that did not.
So what was yours? The main event? Did you say?
Triple H handing Kevin Owens his first world title.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Okay.
And also I think there was a specific moment this year. I can't remember what it was though, so I can't. I'm pretty sure Triple H made a comeback on NXT TV like the same week he was on Raw being a prick.
Oh yeah.
But I can't remember the specifics of that, so I won't give it to that. But yeah. And okay, we can go from there. Worst moment onto tag team of the year.
Well, tag team of the year isn't super important. We this is why I added this, because we haven't had tag team of the year before. This is essentially the piss break before the main event. And really, it's only an excuse for me to moan about my worst tag team of the year. But my tag team of the year, honorable mentions, of course, to American Alpha, the Broken Hardys, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY. But there's only one tag team of the year, right? The best tag team in the world, the Revival. Great matches with everybody. Like some of the best matches of the year with everybody. They always have good matches. They're great characters. Like their wrestling style. Good old-fashioned heels. God damn it. There's not enough of those these days. So it has to be the Revival. No one else came close.
Mine. Honorable mentions to the Broken Hardys. To American Alpha. The Young Bucks.
The Bucks of Youth.
The Bucks of Youth?
The Day of New?
No, they aren't getting. They're not getting. Meek Mahan. The lads from the Flats from OTT. Very fun act. And an honorable mention to the Revival.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Because my tag team of the year, lads, is DIY.
There you go.
Because I feel as though the X factor in these very, very excellent Revival DIY matches, I think it may just be Johnny Gargano and his selling in particular. I feel like he is an instrumental part of those matches, and And I of the two excellent teams, I've personally prefer DIY, but both great.
Well,
so that's my.
I don't feel too
take.
bad for DIY, Barry, because I gave them my fucking match of the year, so they can be happy
That's
with
true.
that, and the Revival get tag team of the year.
Well, when we send out the letters, I'm sure they'll get it.
Yeah, they'll be happy with their lot.
How about you,
Yeah, honourable mention to DIY and to Revival, who I just don't like because they kind of reek of desperation. Like, they want everyone to, we're a great tag team, we have 5-star matches. Fuck off.
They do, though, in fairness.
I just don't like them. Yeah, but it's too needy. I don't like it. So I gave it to the Hardy Boys just out of no other better choice, to be honest.
Out of spite.
Yeah, out of spite, I gave it to the Hardys for all the deletion stuff.
And then for worst tag team, honorable mentions for Golden Truth, the new Wyatt family, who their matches are fine, but Jesus Christ, such a nonsense storyline. And also the Forgotten, but equally horrible year for the Dudley Boys on Raw.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, and this is again the reason why I wanted to have this, the worst tag team, they have almost no redeeming features at all, and one of them, this might spoil who it is, has like tripled in size since the start of the year. That's right, it's the Ascension.
Yeah, I knew that's right.
Who are just horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what more needs to be said. Really, the Ascension are the worst tag team in the world. They're not good at anything. They're literally not good at anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about you, Joe?
I couldn't really think of anyone, so I just went for the Wyatt family because I find that whole Bray Wyatt and the whole Wyatt thing to be interminable. So,
Fair enough.
any variation of the Wyatt family.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. Honorable mention to the Wyatt family. Honorable mention to R-Truth and Goldust. Honorable mention to the Fashion Police. Rubbish.
No, they are good. Honorable mention for tag team of the year.
Honorable mention to Heath Slater and Rhino, who I wanted to like because I thought their antics were mildly amusing, and they've had some good matches. And it's been the first thing that's really gotten Heath Slater over properly, which is good. But I short shelf life, bad choice for first SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Should have been the Usos. Honorable mention, by the way, for best team to the Usos. The Usos were fantastic.
Absolutely.
Reinvented themselves after a long, long time in the company.
Honorable mention for gimmick of the year as well.
Yes, yeah. They've been in the company for a while, and they've been up and down the card. They've been in Superstars. They've been in main events with the Shield. They've been in the middle of the card. They've kind of done everything, and they managed to keep it fresh. Kudos to them. So I forgot that for best. But my worst tag team of the year is in fact the Dudleys. Rubbish. After their TNA work, specifically Bubba's, you kind of thought, I'd like to see them back in WWE, but just didn't bring it at all. Very, very disappointing. They made the third hour of Raw just the most impossible slog. Because I remember for weeks I'd always talk about why are they always so late in the show, because you're already tired and want to go to sleep, and then they come out. So they disappointed me to no end this year. So they are my worst tag team of the year.
Nice.
So now we come to our two biggest awards of the year.
Big dogs.
The big dogs. First of all, should we come up next year with a more politically correct name then?
No.
Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo. It's the CSP Mong of the Year.
Apologies for any offense.
Well,
maybe we will review this.
Either we'll change it.
It's a reference to Mongo.
It is a reference to Steve McMichael. That is true.
I don't know what else you're insinuating.
So this award goes to the most foolish person of the year, or the
biggest buffoon.
Yeah, it's certainly measured in some kind of buffoonery, and definitely the person that I've selected is one of the biggest buffoons of the year. So honorable mentions have to go out to Seth Rollins.
For his lady shenanigans this year?
For multiple reasons, Barry.
Yeah.
And the evergreen Mong honorable mention has to go to Vince McMahon, as every year. But
For suspending Titus O'Neil for that thing?
Barry, there's too many reasons to get into. But for me, there can only be one Mong of the year. And for me, again, head and shoulders above the rest. I don't think, in the years we've given awards, I don't think I've ever had someone that suits this award so well. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Griffin's Mong of the Year award goes to Billy Corgan.
Oh, really?
Very good.
Billy Corgan paid his own money to TNA to keep it alive, and then had to sue the company to get it back, and then ended up being kicked out of the company. So, Billy Corgan, fool you once, shame on you. Fool you twice, you are the Mong of the Year.
Can't get fooled again.
Fool you twice, you are the Mong of the Year.
That's the old saying, guys.
I mean, it seemed like Billy Corgan was the only person who couldn't see what a waste of time and effort and money his involvement in TNA was. You know, I mean, you can't really feel sorry for Billy Corgan how it's all turned out, because he really brought it on himself. He had the best of intentions, you can say that, but unfortunately they weren't the most realistic of intentions, and as a result, he's out of pocket and he's out of a job. So, sorry, Billy, but you're my Mongo of the Year.
Shall I go next? Where's you want to go?
Do you want to go?
Okay. Well, my Mong of the Year returned to the WWE in late 2015 with about 40 pounds more muscle than the last time he'd been seen on television. He then proceeded to join in one of the worst stables of the last decade. An incredibly boring yet talented group of men. He then went on to have incredibly forgettable matches, eventually violating the wellness policy and being suspended. He then left WWE and embarked on a relationship with another WWE performer, which could only be described as toxic and disastrous. He then went back to the independent circuit, no-showed several shows, came up with convoluted excuses about being stabbed, about being beaten up. He had a fight with a Ninja Turtle who besmirched his girlfriend's honor. He then finished the year by getting engaged. My
Truly the worst decision of all.
My Mong of the Year is Alberto Del Rio. But you already knew that.
Another great pick.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
My Mong of the Year, honorable mention, goes to Paige. Honorable mention goes to Sasha Banks for always working herself into a shoot on the internet.
Oh, God.
Honorable mention goes to CM Punk for working himself into a shoot every day of his life. But my Mong of the Year goes to Dutch Mantel for tweeting when Joe Cox died. I thought they didn't have guns in England. And then pretending when people got very mad at him that, whoa, what? I was asking an earnest question. I didn't believe they had firearms. Like, no. And he tried to play it like he was asking a sincere question as opposed to being a disingenuous fuck. So he is my Mong of the Year for being a Mong.
Yeah.
So there's that. And that brings us, lads.
Oh my God, the big one.
To the big one.
The one the
big
fans
dog.
are waiting for.
The Lex Luger Total Package of the Year. This is for, okay, the best overall wrestler, however we would choose to categorize it, or however we, whatever our personal preferences would be, for what we define a great wrestler. This is the one, wrestling, talking, whatever. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. This is someone who I think's been one of the best wrestlers for many, many years now. He finally made it to the biggest stage of all in January after a fantastic couple of years in New Japan. He's had good matches throughout the year with many, many different people. He's held the WWE title for a big chunk of the year.
Not Luke Gallows, then.
No, he's also, obviously, the Total Package Award is not just about the matches, it's about the all-round character. And I think he's done a fantastic job of doing promos and getting his character across in WWE as well. It's one of the highlights of WWE TV this year. He is the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Boom.
Get ready. 5.
That's the only thing he's missing is the old TNA theme song.
Yep. You'll get it back someday.
WWE will buy it in the old tire.
Yeah,
fire.
when they buy TNA and he's like, I like that old song. No, you're using this one that we obviously made for the Briscoes and then never signed them. We them Southern boys on a chicken farm.
Okay,
All right, Paul,
I have some honorable mentions to shout out first. Honorable mention for good brother John Cena.
Absolutely.
Another good year in the books. Yeah. Honorable mention. This one might surprise you. Honorable mention goes to Alexa Bliss.
Oh, yeah.
Damn fine year since she's been brought up, I must say. She's exceeded expectations.
Yep.
Honorable mention goes to AJ Styles. But that being said, I think AJ Styles is a damn fine pick. I think most people would pick AJ Styles. He's had top matches. His mic work has been great. It's something that most people held against him as a weakness. He's been really good. That being said, when I tune into SmackDown every week, it's not AJ Styles segments that I'm most excited about.
James Ellsworth.
Someone who I hope has the WWE title at some point in 2017.
James Ellsworth.
Someone who I predict will hold the WWE title before SummerSlam.
James Ellsworth.
My Lex Luger Total Package of the Year award goes to James Ellsworth. No, it's not James Ellsworth. Someone who I never thought would have this award. It's The Miz.
Yes.
Is my Total Package winner. I foresee big things for him next year. I think he'll be WWE champion on SmackDown for a considerable part of the year. He'll move to the main event where finally I think he belongs.
Note that down in the predictions, will you?
Yeah.
I think The Miz has even more so than Chris Jericho in a low key way has really revolutionized himself this year and really he stands out from the pack. Even though he's kind of at the moment is in the mid card, he's really got what he does down to a T, you know. I feel like AJ Styles with his character, he still isn't clearly defined as a character yet. He still has work to do on the character to really develop a proper heel persona. He's still kind of in between. The Miz had, of course, a really good, like 2010, I think was the last really good year he had. Won the WWE title, maybe a little too early in his development, and then kind of came down again. But now he's bringing himself up. He's a properly seasoned performer. Had great matches throughout the year. Great promos throughout the year. Some of the most memorable promos of the year were The Miz. So, as surprising as it might have been for me 2 years ago, or even a year ago to say, 2017, Total Package of the Year, The Miz.
Very good. Okay.
That's me.
Honorable mentions go to Mr. Will Ospreay.
Yes.
Go to Mr. Marty Scurll. Go to Mr. AJ Styles. To Mr. John Cena. To Mr. Mike Mizanin. all great lads. My Lex Luger Total Package of the Year award goes to Miss Rebecca Lynch.
Wow. The first ever woman recipient, I think, of the...
I feel like Becky Lynch has I feel like she was very much the third wheel of the four horsewomen in some ways. The other two, on Raw were the hardest pushed act. Bayley was kind of the cult favorite, and she was the workhorse, and she was the one who had the best match with Sasha, but it was not the most remembered match. And then she came up to the main roster, and she was still not the most focused person. And I feel like she had that Royal Rumble feud with Charlotte, where it was very much like, okay, here's a time filler program for you for Mania, prove yourself. And I think she converted a lot of people in that feud. I think she won a lot of people over. A lot of people realized, oh wait, no, Becky Lynch, she's actually a great worker, bit of a character. She's got some real charisma to her. She was then part of that excellent three-way, a bit rough around the edges, but ultimately I love that match. And then the best thing ever that could have happened to her happened, which was they had a draft, and they said, okay, Charlotte and Sasha are going over here. You're not the third wheel anymore. You're going to be on your own separate show, and as we now know, in hindsight, it's going to be the better show. She was given that ball, and she ran with it. She was a great champion. She was likable. I think her promos were endearing. I feel like she just came off great in in basically every facet of the business, and I feel like she was a huge asset to making SmackDown a great show and a must-watch show. And I feel like as divisive as Charlotte and Sasha were, I feel like there was no real divisiveness with Becky. I think everyone likes Becky, and I feel like she has been a huge feather in the cap of SmackDown this year. So she is my total package of the year.
There you go. You wanted a real progressive podcast, progressive women's wrestling. You got it, brother.
So who's our overall total package?
Well, we have to
pick an overall package.
We have to choose one because we do have one per year. I do like this year that for each award that we didn't have to choose one. I do like that we all have our own. But I agree for Lex Luger total package there has to be one. Of the three, if I was to choose one of your two picks, I would probably go AJ Styles. So I think of the three, AJ is probably the one that the three of us would convene on the most.
See, of the other two, I would go for the Miz.
So Barry, you have the tie-breaking cast.
Oh, that's tough. So for the record, I mean, I'll be of no help at all, and I'll say that I would absolutely go for either of the ones you guys suggested. God, and I actually don't know what my preference would be. Although I guess I can figure that out. Oh, buddy.
Tough. I think AJ obviously edges it in terms of in-ring, just the sheer number of good matches.
What I would even say as well, and it's funny because I'm almost arguing for Joe's pick over my own one, but I feel like it's almost like the body of work that each of them had. AJ Styles is a little bit more solid for this year, I feel. I think maybe my pick for Miz is a little bit colored by
improvement.
No, but by potential also for next year.
Yeah.
That, of course, I picked Miz because I think he had a stellar year, but that may be leading into an even better next year, whereas AJ Styles had a really great 2016, So maybe AJ is the way to go.
I do almost want to honor Miz for the incredible year he's had, but I feel like just in terms of volume of great matches, I'd have to go AJ Styles for this. But it was two great competitors.
Yeah.
So AJ Styles is the CSP total package of the year.
That's it.
Nice.
What a fine list of awards we've had this year.
Whew.
It's been a damn good show.
Year. Yeah, fantastic.
So we'll be back next week with our regular show, where we talk about the movies we saw, the video games we played, the wrestling news and TV of the week. And we'll also maybe have a quiz. I actually do, in fact, have a 20 questions that I'm still holding on to. So we'll have 20 questions next week. Maybe we'll have our predictions next week. For
I'll work on that.
And we're back. We were off for a few weeks, but we're back. Revitalized.
We're back, baby.
And better than ever.
I'm back. So yeah, that's going to be it for this week, folks. We will be back next week doing all the things Paul just talked about. In the meantime, go to ChairShotPodcast.com. Check out the episode archive. Follow us on our various social media. At ChairShotPod is the main one you're going to want to follow. Updates about the show and all that jazz. Next week we will talk about all the usual fun and games. We'll also maybe give a little mention to World of Sport, which I know Joe watched and I watched.
Yeah.
Give a little mention to that. Also, if you guys get around to watching the New Japan main event, you guys should check it out.
Wrestle Kingdom.
We can talk about that. And yeah, and then all the usual stuff we do as well. You know the show, you guys. Come on, we're all fans here.
Yeah.
So we'll be back then. Until then, have a good New Year. Hope you're all being safe and prosperous out there. Sticking to your resolutions, and send us an email in the meantime, and we will catch up with you all next week. So it's goodbye from me, Barry Murphy. Goodbye from Paul Griffin.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye, Mr. Joe Towner.
Goodbye.
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 Joe Towner.